So, good morning to you, Aaron. I know it is 9 a.m. for you over in Canada, correct?
Yes, it is.
Cool. So, could you give a short introduction about yourself?
I'm 38 years old. I spent 17 years working on drilling rigs for oil around southeast Saskatchewan.
And how did you come about the real watch?
I came about the real world actually by fluke chance. I was watching the news, seeing Andrew Tate's story come on, and I'm dealing with a lot of the same kind of stuff right now with the law, and it took an interest. I added him on Facebook, and he put a post up asking where everybody was supporting from. I commented, and he replied to the comment, and that led me to the real world.
So, you say when you saw him on the news that you're in a similar situation to him. So, could you explain that?
I'm just on house arrest, have served time in jail already a couple months for things that didn't even happen. Just I was randomly accused of it. The difference between me and Tate is he hasn't even been charged, but just the fact that we're having to serve time when in my case it didn't even happen, and but I've been charged for charges that did for things that didn't happen. It
Well,
interested me how it's the same thing going on over there as it is here. I thought laws would be a lot different.
mhm. So, what happened there? Just a random woman charged you, accused you?
Yeah, me and my ex girlfriend were in an argument, and while she was Snapchatting with her friend, and her friend didn't like me because my ex girlfriend had been spending more time with me than her. So when we got in an argument, her friend phoned 911 from 4 miles away, telling police that I was beating my girlfriend, which wasn't happening. And like she showed up, she ended up beating the police there to tell me that she had called the cops, and I literally left. I was still not even recovered from an accident I was in November. Couldn't walk, let alone
Wow.
beat somebody. So when she showed up with her phone, I left. I took my ex girlfriend's car, who was my girlfriend at the time, and I just left. I didn't want to deal with it. I went to a friend's place. A day and a half later, there I find out there's a bolo out on me. Be on the lookout, and it's all over the news, Facebook, newspapers, radio. My name, my everything over this, and my charges,
Wow.
and nothing even happened, man. Just the statement given by a drunk woman. There was like she wasn't breathalyzed even to see if she was sober. There was no evidence, like physical evidence of it, anything that was they said happened even happened. But I've had to deal with it, and I'm just on release conditions, ankle bracelet, everything for things that didn't even happen. I haven't been convicted of any crime, and I'm still suffering, kept in the house, suppressed.
Mhm. And what did your ex-girlfriend say as a testament?
As a testimony, oh, she said that I had beat her at gunpoint with a long rifle and a crutch, and it was physically impossible to even do what she said I did, to hold a gun, swing a crutch, stand on one foot, and balance. It's like I shattered my hip in an accident. So
Hmm.
I don't know, and like taking all that into consideration, I would think a police officer who's supposed to uphold laws and be a smarter, more intelligent individual would see that this was all bullshit, but they haven't.
Wow. I mean, at that point, once they put out the bolo and you said it was called a bolo, right?
Pardon me? Yeah, Bolo, be on the lookout.
Right. Yes. When they put that out, I guess then they probably had to charge you of something because
Yeah,
of.
they if anybody gives a statement, I guess in Canada they have to charge it. They have as soon as an officer's wage has been used on investigating something, like a charge has to be laid. The
Wow.
woman that gave this statement has since sobered up and went and talked to the police and the crown prosecutor, and they won't believe her that she lied. She's tried to say she lied.
Wow.
Yeah,
Crazy. So, how has that affected your initial job? Or were you already on leave because of the accident?
I was already on leave for the accident. My rig had shut down at the time of the accident, so
Okay.
it's been very hit and miss lately, whether it's they're working or whether they're not.
And what have you done since? So you said you spent some time in jail. Now in your house. Now you're on house arrest. So what have you been doing in that time?
Well, I just surfing the web. I was trying to find ways to make money online, and that's when I found the real world.
And what did you choose to go into, and how did that scale?
Well, I started with a copywriting course, and then I went into Professor Dillon's freelancing course, and then I went
Hmm.
into I did a little bit in ecom, but it wasn't really for me. I'm kind of looking into the stocks right now, but crypto stocks and stuff like that.
Hmm.
It's just a matter of having the capital, but that's what the first $100 course by Professor Dillon helped me out a lot.
Yeah. So in terms of income, what have you done to get an income from the reward?
From the real world, just selling, flipping things that I've already had laying around the house that I wasn't using anymore, just taking up space. Sold them on Facebook Marketplace for profit.
Hmm. So what would have? How comes you weren't doing that before joining the real world? Like, what gave you that inspiration to do it post joining?
I didn't even think of it. I just was taking the course, and it was mentioned you could take whatever you got later on. I was like, well, I got all kinds of stuff sitting around that I could sell for gain and whatnot. But
Hmm.
I didn't even know about Craigslist. I learned that from the real world from Professor Dillon as well.
Interesting. Okay. So selling items around your house, did you scale that even further, or did you
Yeah,
leave
I
that
had
there?
a truck that I had bought previously, a diesel truck, and it was broken, had a blown head gasket and a broken Y pipe. So I replaced that. I got the parts for $500, under $500, and I ended up selling the truck for $7,000. That's $5,500 profit there.
Nice. So in total, since you've joined, how much have you made that you can attribute to the reward?
Since I've started in the real world, I can attribute over $6,000 to income.
Nice. And in what time span is this?
I've only been in the real world for just 2 weeks.
So all of this in 2 weeks. Interesting.
Yes.
Did it differ from your expectations when you first joined? As in, what were you expecting just as you joined, or right before joining, and how different has it been in those 2 weeks since?
I wasn't really sure what to expect before joining. I don't know. I was mind blown when I got in there and I got learning like just the vast wealth of information and knowledge that you can take in to hone in skills and just what it takes to become somebody or to stand out. It's millions of
Hmm.
people online. It's kind of hard to not be just another one of the crowd.
Right. So since making these freelancing flipping wins, what else are you planning on doing?
Getting into the crypto and the stocks stuff like that. I've looked into copywriting. I don't know. I don't mind writing, but I think about writing a book. I've been some places and done some things. I don't know. I've been told by a few people that it would be interesting if I could get it into a book format.
Hmm. And could you expand a bit more on that about your past? What things stand out?
Just working on a drilling rig day in and day out, 8 hours, 12 hours every day, having to drive through the most adverse, dangerous weather conditions every day, no matter what. The only the only excuses you had for not being at work were you were either dead or in the ditch trying to get there.
Wow.
Whiteout blizzards, rainstorms, tornadoes, it didn't matter. You had to get to work because the crew before you needed relief.
Wow. And is this for 17 years?
Yes, the better part of it, yeah. Every spring, it gets too wet to move a rig, so it's got to shut down. It gets too wet and soft, you'll wreck the roads. So
And
there's
what kept you going all that time?
just a little bit of saved money that you had from working before. But the cost of living and everything is getting so high that even people that make top dollar, and then even making that top dollar, you get into a higher tax bracket, so the government takes more from you anyway. I think I
Hmm.
was ended up by the end when I was making about $40 an hour. I was giving them about $1,200 a month taxes just off my check, and then you get taxed on groceries, and then you get taxed on tax and carbon tax, and now there's two carbon tax. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I guess I don't want to dive too deep into that rabbit hole, but yeah, it is getting quite a mess.
Yeah. But no,
Okay,
this
so
working my own hours, my own time, being able to put in whatever I want. You know what I mean? Like it's
Mhm.
the amount I get out is directly affected by the amount of work I put in.
right. So with the material you've seen inside of the real world, how different is it compared to what's out on the internet?
I didn't really do much of it. It's just, it's really in depth. It gives you like exact details of what to do, what you can do, and like just what their business look for, what'll catch their eye. I don't know. I've never really seen as great a detail and it's explained very well, very well. Professor Andrew and Professor Dylan can bring things into perspective very well.
Hmm. And why do you think they only charge $50 for all that value?
I think it's a why do I think that? Is that what you asked?
Yeah.
Because they just want to help out to close the margin between the wealth and the poor, man. They're just trying to. They're great people. They're great guys trying to help out the lower class, middle class.
Fair. Okay. And have you interacted with the community at all? Have you looked through
Oh
the
yeah,
Winch channel? Did
yeah.
that have any impact on
Chatted
you?
every day. I'm part of Professor Andrew's 10 years, 7 days course, whatever he's called that. Chatting in there, and just the beginner, the experience or the advanced not crypto, the advanced e-commerce, freelancing. There's a few chat rooms I'm in.
And has that had any kind of impact on you over those 2 weeks?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. There's always somebody in there that I can ask a question, a professor, a captain, somebody in there that's always willing and knowledgeable enough to help you. I'm very appreciative of that.
Good. What would you say was the biggest challenge you faced when starting out with flipping?
Just finding places to flip or how much it's worth, just having to do the research to figure out what something was actually worth so I wasn't shorting myself, or just figure out what would actually sell. Other than that, it's been fairly straightforward. And
Yeah. So, in terms of insights in those 2 weeks, what things stand out from the lessons?
just basically the Professor Andrew gave out the WOSS course, the weapons of social seduction, he called it. They were pretty informative. I really enjoyed watching that. Basically, how to cause somebody to think what you want them to think, to do what you want them to do. It's kind of a cheat hack that really stood out.
But you have to use it for good,
Right.
is that really what they say,
That's
right?
exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Good.
enough people.
Anything else that stands out to you from any of the lessons?
Pardon me?
Anything else that stands out to you from any of the lessons that you could comment on?
No, just when I realized that with the first $100 course, how I had just laying around, I was wondering how I was going to make money and whatever, and capital, and just, yeah, it all clicked all at once. I was like, well, I got this and this laying around and I don't need them. So,
Okay, fair. So, in terms of your goals for short term, medium, long term, would you have anything to comment on? Or are you waiting until house arrest is over before making plans?
no, just long term, I'm going to stick with this just to see how it goes. Like I said, I'm still recovering. I'm supposed to have a hip replacement surgery here in a couple months. So
Wow.
after that, maybe I can physically do something again. But until then, I'll be continuing on here. Hoping to do maybe some freelancing. Definitely going to get into the stocks, cryptocurrency.
Okay, fair. Do you have any previous experience with either stocks or cryptocurrency, or will this
No,
be new to you?
no, this is all new. I've spent 17 years out physically making money with my back. I've always been interested in it. I know people have made money, but I've just never had the time to invest in learning.
Or so in a way, this is technically a benefit to you.
Yeah, it's
I
very
mean,
much so.
there's a big, obviously negative, but then I mean, at least there is a positive of having some free time to actually invest into learning now.
Right. Yes. Also, my father, he's been diagnosed with lung cancer, so I'm here getting to spend some time with him.
Mm.
It means a lot.
Yeah.
To every downside, down thing, there's an upside to everything. So
Mm.
it's just how you look at it. You got to stay
Yeah.
positive, stay motivated. Not even motivated, stay determined. Know what you want, have a plan.
So even though you're 38, what kind of impact has Tate had on you from what you've seen of him?
Oh, he's been a completely positive influence. Everything I've read or everything I've heard him say has been completely motivational, and it's made 100% sense. It's no fuck around, straight to the point. Doesn't sugarcoat anything. Just tells it how it is, and I appreciate that.
Mhm. Okay, good. So in terms of questions, that's everything from me. Um, I think in about 3 months, when we do a follow-up interview, there'll be more to talk about your experiences, how everything has developed from you. I hope, I hope by then maybe you're out of house arrest and things work out well. So we'll keep in touch.
Yep, I tend not to leave anything up to luck, so it's 3 months. I should be in a lot better situation.
Good, good. So we can use this as a reference point in three
Yep,
months to see how far you've come.
absolutely.
So thank you for your time, Aaron, and I look forward to that follow-up. All the best to you until
Thanks
then.
for your time. You have a great day.